Can we make it with an avatar pose, like holding the hat boxes? No.
Well, we can, but that's right. Hang on.
I told Polystyrene that people will make things in 3D Studio Max and then texture them in Blender and then put them back in 3D Studio Max. And she was like, really? Oh, well, that changes things maybe.
Yeah, right. We are. Well, it's streaming, but it's not yet live.
Oh.
No, right. So it's live now. So.
Oh, can I click on this somewhere? Let me see.
I've got one viewer. Oh, that's you.
Am I viewing right now?
Yeah. If you're watching the stream to check that it's live, that counts you as a viewer.
Oh, yeah. I'm just on the videos all page. Oh, I think maybe I invited Beth to this thing. I don't remember when I made the event. I'm like, why is she online? Okay. Oh, I see it. No, that's you. What? I don't understand what's going on. You're not streaming live yet?
Yes, it is. It's streaming the.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not streaming live yet? Oh, shoot. Oh, here. Oh, you're not streaming live yet? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so there's going to be the typical 10, 15, 20 seconds delay if you watch the actual stream itself, but we, as in you and I, won't have any problems because we are going through Zoom.
That's still so weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh, I'm getting so confused. I have 2 keyboards and mice. Can you, if somebody is here, I wonder if I can like invite them to come watch your stream or something.
You mean at IMVU?
No, somebody that if they're signed into Twitch or something.
Yes, you should be able to.
So if you're a moderator, what kind of power does that give you?
I guess the same as you would normally expect as a moderator in terms of you can set up filters for language and URL links, but most of it is just as typical sort of stuff that you would expect from a forum.
Oh, like being able to ban somebody, kick them out.
Yeah.
I was a forum moderator on IMVU for like a minute. I don't know, maybe for like a couple months. And I was like, this isn't any fun.
No, it can get quite tricky.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
And then you have to deal with like the personalities of the other moderators.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a Hatbox.
Yeah. Well, you might have noticed that when you reopened the file, it was in the state that the file last was when you saved it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a useful convenience from the point of view of what Blender does when you save a file, because it does essentially, it saves a file dump. So everything that you have set up is saved to the Blender file. So when you next open it, it'll show what you were last working on. The only exception for that is data that's temporary in nature. So if you were doing animations, if you didn't do something to the animation to keep it in play, as in keep it in place rather than actually, animating, it would lose that data. So you've got to be mindful of that. But that's a useful thing to know, that it keeps it.
Yeah, like 3D Studio Max.
Does that do that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, everything's basically set up the way you left it, but I'm not sure if like literally the same face will be highlighted, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is though.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what Blender will do. So if you had one of those faces around the top there, if you had one of those selected when you were saving the file, when you reopen it, that face will still be selected.
Oh, okay. I think it's the same.
Right. So what are we doing? Hatbox. Okay, so what we can do is if you left click the edit mode, the mode selector, and switch to object mode, that's it. And what we can do, we've got a basic shape that we can just work with for the moment, but what we can do is start working on adding a bow to the scene.
Oh, can we wait? Can we do a stack of them first?
Well,
Oh, can we
what? Go on.
chamfer the edges?
Yes, we can. But what you want to try and do is build everything. Can't think of the word. You're basically blocking everything out, so you have you're developing the entire product as you add more detail. So if you add more detail to the hat box, by comparison, the bow may look low poly.
Oh,
So
but the bow, I want to put one bow that goes around all of the hat boxes.
Yeah. So in terms of the detail, if you work on the project, so you add a bow now, you can then duplicate the boxes and adjust the bow relative to the scene that you've got. So you're developing the whole item sequentially or incrementally, that's the word, rather than making something highly detailed and then adding to it.
Okay, but I don't understand because if I'm going to make like a tower of hat boxes, I won't know exactly where the bow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because what you're doing is basically creating the individual elements. So you've got the initial hat box, that'll just be duplicated. So what you need now is the bow, so you can assess the size of the boxes relative to the bow or vice versa, and then you can adjust the scene as you want.
But I don't understand why it would end up being a low res bow.
No, it wouldn't be. It's just that what you're doing now, if you add the bow now, you can detail it up. You can detail it up relative to the hat box as you've got it now. Right?
Won't the bow just get in the way though?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
because you don't. You can just move it to one side as you're working, or adjust it, or do whatever you want. But we can do either or actually. But if you want to chamfer and duplicate the hat boxes, that's relatively straightforward to do. I mean, the first thing we want to do then is just chamfer the box. So if you go back into edit mode, switch to edge mode. That's it. Yep. And then you want to do an alt. Hold the alt key down and right click the leading edge of the top around the. That's it.
Oh, do I need to just click all? Oh.
No, that's it. The alt does that for you. It automatically selects the loop.
Oh, I just need it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
just do it once. So if you hold the alt key down and do it on one of the other loops, like where the lid joins the box.
Oh, it's more obvious there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just because of the way that the box is, the lid is created. It's an n-gon, So basically it's one face that has however many edges. I think it was 24 we set it to. But with it selected, go into the mesh menu.
Wait, oh, sorry. Okay, the mesh, wait,
Yeah,
mesh
that's
menu.
it. And we want edges. And bevel should be in there somewhere. There it is. So if you move the mouse, you might have to move it away.
Oh,
There you go. It's quite sensitive, so if that's it.
no. Oh, shoot.
Just Control Z, undo.
I don't have my line back. Do I have to go back now?
Yeah, we have to redo it.
What
so
was
edges,
it? Bevel.
bevel.
Okay, pull. Okay, maybe that's good.
That's it.
Okay.
Is that as much of a bevel as you want, or?
How can I see it without all the lines highlighted?
Exit edit mode. Yeah, object mode. There's. Can you see the button to the left, to the right of the edit mode selector thing that you just clicked? There's the checker, the white and red sphere checker. That's it. Click and select solid.
It always looks like a lifesaver to me.
Oh right, yes, yeah, lifesaver, yeah. So that's the object as it stands in terms of how it would actually be lit.
I like my chamfer.
So what you can do is, in the tool shelf on the left there, can you see the two buttons that say smooth and flat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, click smooth.
Oh, and it just changed the
Yeah. So if you go back into edit mode,
okay.
right, you'll have to rotate the scene around because you want to see the join where the lid joins where the main body of the box is. So rotate, yeah, well, rotate the scene upwards. So middle mouse click. That's it. So you want that edge. Can you see where the hat box joins, where the lid joins the body of the hat box?
Here.
Yeah, so if you Alt right click that edge, the other one, the one on the inside, yeah, that's it. And from the mesh menu, edges.
A bevel again?
No, you want mark sharp.
Oh, that's going to make a shading.
Yeah, so if you do the same to the bottom edge, so Alt and right click the bottom edge, and then do the same thing, mesh menu, edges, mark sharp.
I was telling Polly about all the tools that she might think are really cool in Blender.
Well, yes, I mean that's what people do. Some people do that. They create their models in 3D Studio Max or whatever it is that they're using. They export them out as FBX or Collada or objects, bring them into Blender, do all the UV mapping and stuff, and then they export it back out and back into whatever app they were using.
I think she should give it a try. I'm going to see, like, if I get her to come in next Monday.
She will have to now because this is live.
I know.
Talk about forcing a hand.
I don't know. Like, just because I say it, like, why does she have to? Does she, like, look bad now if she doesn't or something?
Well, because you're essentially calling her out.
Yeah.
And this is live.
She might be around right now. I should try to find her. I don't know. Okay.
Right, so exit edit mode. And no. Right, so in the properties panel on the right, where all the buttons were, where you set up the materials and stuff, click the orange cube one. No, it's not that one. It's the triangular one. The one with the... That's it. Yeah, so click that. Can you see where it
not
says...
the cube that says cylinder by it.
Yeah. Can you see where it says auto smooth? The checkbox below. Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, click that. And then change the shading angle. So if you left click where it says 30 degrees and then type 79 or something like that, and you see it changes the angle of the shading.
Oh, yeah.
So what that's done is it's created a split in the shading by splitting the faces, so you get hard edge, and you can adjust that setting once you've got your edges marked to take advantage of the bevel to make the bevel look smoother, so that there's a smoother transition from the top down to the sides.
Oh. How do you think this looks? Should I put it back to 79?
No, that looks fine. That's fine.
Oh, here, let me try 6. I'll try. This looks the same.
Because what you're doing is taking advantage of the addition of the bevel. Because that's the purpose of a bevel, is to essentially smooth the way the object is shaded, so that you don't get hard edges and hard lines around the object. So you add a bevel, and then with your smoothing in place, it'll shade, it'll create a smooth transition between surfaces.
Well, I think it looks good.
Right, so if you...
Wait, can we chamfer this edge?
You can, yes. So if you go into edit mode, you might have to adjust the scene a little bit. So middle mouse click, that's it. Then Alt right click again. That's it. And mesh menu, edges, and bevel.
Okay. Oh no! Wait. Oh no! No.
Undo. So Control Z, yeah, or Control Z. Edges.
Yeah. What is this Z of which you speak?
It's the Queen's English.
Ugh. Yeah, we've rebelled against her, I think. Oh well, whatever. The size is fine. I like it. I love it. It looks so good. It's the perfect bevel. Going with this.
Right, so exit edit mode.
Wait, can I like drag it down a little bit?
The lid, the bottom of the lid, to make the lid
Like
taller.
Like the part that's highlighted right now, just to make it more like it's overhanging the box a little bit more.
Yes, you can do. Yeah, so if you just if you switch to the translate widget, which is the pointy arrow one, that's it, and just drag down on the left click, drag down on the blue handle.
A little there. Let me see. I like that. Okay. Okay, awesome.
Right, so exit edit mode. And then switch it's now a white sphere, so if you click that white sphere icon and switch back to the life preserver texture. That's the...
Let's just make up a new name for everything. It'll be great.
Yeah. That's not texture view, that's lifesaver view.
Yeah.
So that's your basic hat box.
Yay. So you're saying we should make a ribbon before we duplicate the hat box?
Well, that's what I would do, but if you want to duplicate the box so that you can see how many boxes you want and their position, all you need to do now is just, it's selected, so that's okay. Go into the object menu.
Oh.
And you want duplicate objects.
Oh.
Yeah, right click just to reset and release. Now left click, drag the blue handle upwards.
Oh.
Right, so if you want to keep the proportion, the height proportion of the elements of the box, we need to use that shrink and fatten feature that we used before. So if you go into the object menu, transform, that's it.
Randomize transform.
Well, you can try that and see what it does.
I don't see any change. I thought it would just immediately do something.
Yeah. Probably selection based like everything.
So which transform? Scale?
Scale, well, yeah, just use scale for now.
Oh, whoa, no. Okay.
I'm guessing that, although I've never noticed this myself, but the fatten and shrink is probably selection based in edit mode.
Oh.
So if you undo that, if you want to try that, so just Control Z. And again. Right, so switch to edit mode. Right, so we need to do a selection here. So from the select menu on the left, that's
okay.
it. Deselect all.
Oh.
Do it again. Select, deselect all, and that selects everything. Now if you go into the mesh menu, there should be a transform. Oh, there it is. Shrink and fatten. Alt
Why
S.
do we want to fatten it? Oh, this doesn't seem like. Whoa. Oops. No.
Right. So the way to adjust this is to use the scale tool then, because of the way that the box has been made. If we select everything, it's adjusting everything, including the top of the box. So you can right click just to reset that, just to release that.
Oh.
Because what you want to do here is just use the scale tool. So scale widget. The widget.
Oh, the widget.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the one with the box on the end, yeah. And then just left click drag holding Control down, left click drag the red and green handles so that you're snapping to increments.
Oh, what was wrong with using it in object mode? That seemed to make a fine hat box.
Well, it's just because we're in edit mode. We can do this in edit mode.
Because in object mode, it just did it nice and evenly. This way I just made an oval box.
Yeah, it's because you're manipulating individual axes of the box rather than the whole thing.
Isn't that less desirable? It
depends. If you want to keep the height proportion, you would adjust the X and Y axes.
But this looks shorter anyway, doesn't it? Why is it shorter? It looks shorter, but it also doesn't look round on top.
Well, if you want a uniform scale...
No, I guess it'll be weird if the hat boxes get shorter. They're going to be super short by the time we get to the top, huh?
Yeah.
I think this is good. It looks pretty round. Wait, but isn't it shorter though?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
What's going on? Did I not control Z enough times before or something?
Possibly. Well, you can adjust that if you right-click the bottom face. So if you manipulate the scene so you can see, just right-click that. And then switch to the... Oh, we need to switch to face select mode first. Yep, and then switch to transform manipulator, which is the pointy arrow one. That's it, and then just drag that down. Left-click, drag the blue handle.
Close enough. Okay.
Right,
It's
so
starting to look like a stack of hat boxes.
exit edit mode. Right-click the bottom box. And object menu. Duplicate objects. Right click. That's it. And then move your... So it's left click, drag the blue handle now.
Oops, wait. And what, wait, which one? Oh, okay. Why didn't we just do the other one?
Because you've got changed proportions with the one that you adjusted.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's usually just a better idea just to start from a single base unit that you know the size of and then adjust it as needed.
Okay.
So if you switch to the scale widget, now you can left click drag the green and red handles and adjust the size of that. So if you hold control key down whilst you're doing that, it'll...
Left click, okay.
That's it.
Let's see. Oh, that's not bad. Wait. Is that right? It seems round.
Yeah.
But it seems... Is it centered? It looks... I guess so. Okay.
How many hat boxes do you want?
Like 5.
5?
Is that not how you were imagining it?
No, it wasn't. All right, so right click the bottom box again. Duplicate.
Wait, this one is too high up.
Sorry?
This one is up too high, right?
All right, yeah, so left click the pointy arrow.
Okay.
And then left click that down.
Okay.
All right, so right click that. Object menu. Duplicate objects. Right click. Then left click drag.
Okay.
And then switch to the scale widget and scale again.
Oh yeah.
And again, hold the control key down and you'll snap to the grid.
Okay. That seems round. Oh, does it? I think it lines up pretty good too. Okay. Okay, one more hat box.
All right, again, right click, object menu, duplicate objects, right click, switch to the translate widget. That's it, pointy arrow one.
It's the right one, okay. Okay. Object transform. Wait, no.
That's it. left click.
Maybe we can make the top one a little shorter. Like it looks a little weird.
Well, what you also probably want to do is rotate the boxes, because right
True.
now what you've done is you've duplicated them as a tower, a stack. So the same pattern that you eventually have on. So if you do the red, what was it you were wanting to do? A polka dot?
A grayscale polka dot.
Yeah, if you do a polka dot, that the position of the dots will be equal on all of them. So you want to disrupt that pattern. So if you select the one to the left of the scale widget, which is the rotate widget.
Wait.
The one between, that's it, that one. Yep. And then left click drag the blue handle.
I feel like it could be, well, I guess how would you do that?
What?
Oh, I was just thinking like it would be nice to actually move the texture on the mesh.
No, you wouldn't do it that well. You tend to try and avoid doing that because you create problems for derivers when they are wanting to derive, because as with the pumpkins, if the derivers assume that the pumpkins are mapped the same way, they can put a face in the middle of the pumpkin and it will appear in the middle of the pumpkin mesh. If you adjust the UVs doing that with that in mind, it'll offset the face, so it'll, you'll disrupt the face. So you want to rotate the objects or manipulate the objects rather than necessarily doing that to the UV map if you're going to do something like this that's going to be derivable.
The texture artists have to put like some gift wrap on there that has a repeatable pattern, and
yes,
then they will.
Yeah.
And then they will be fine. Don't try to put a face on your hat box.
No. I was using the example of the face as illustrative of the problem that you can create by offsetting the UVs instead of rotating the box.
Well, I hope I randomized it enough now.
It should be enough. It looks okay.
What's a little weird is that the lids on the boxes totally line up exactly with the part below them.
Well, yes, we can adjust that. That would be adjustable as a UV. But it also depends on how you, because what you can do is just leave them as is for the sake of ease of UV mapping for derivers, and you would then rely on them offsetting that section of the UV map relative to the...
I think that's better.
Yeah, because otherwise it gets complicated, because if you start adjusting the UV map and offsetting the UVs, you get into the same problem with the pumpkin face. If you put a face on there and it doesn't line up, or it does line up, because you basically want to keep the box as simple as possible, but you also want to give the derivers the option of how they deal with the box. So for something like this, if you keep it all uniform, it basically means that the deriver, the texture deriver, has the option to either map it so that it uses the same texture all the way up, or to offset a section of it themselves to create the offset on the box when the box is displayed in IMVU.
Yeah, I guess it's really hard. Like, I don't know, like I started making meshes on there.com and there's no deriving. And like, I never got used to thinking like, well, how is this going to be for someone else?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to with IMVU. Especially when you're creating the meshing, when you're meshing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised. I was surprised to find out that people don't like tiled textures. I'm like, but that's so easy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends. You see, this is the thing. It depends on what it is that you want. I mean, like, for example, with these hat boxes, you've got one, two, three, four, five now. So you've now got the option of, do you want five separate textures, or do you want one texture used five times? So
Oh, I
that's,
do?
you do.
Do I have to do something special for
No, no,
that?
well, you would have to, but those are the questions that you have to ask yourself as a mesher when you are creating objects for IMVU that are going to be derived and used by other people. Because you're not just making something, you're making something that somebody else has to understand how to use and deconstruct effectively. And
But I
the simpler you make that, the easier it is to derive from the product.
see, I feel like it seems like people would like to have, like, if you make a wall, they want the wall to be just like one piece, like a one big texture. But how much better quality, like if you're making a brick wall or something, if you make a tiled texture, you could have such higher quality
Well,
bricks on your.
yes, I mean, again, you've got two ways of dealing with the same problem in terms of representing a wall. But what does that wall represent? If it's just a blank wall, you can get away with tiling. But if the wall has to have some graffiti on it, you can't tile the wall with graffiti on it. So you have to address the problem in a different way. You essentially then have to create another layer or another, what essentially becomes a skin in IMVU that uses transparency, which is mapped one to a square texture, and that's the one that has the graffiti on, which sits over the top of the brick wall, which is tiled. You can't do both and have the quality there. You have to approach it either or. Either you include the brick wall with the graffiti and you map it one to one, or you split it up so that you've got a tiled brick wall and a graffiti layer over the top as a transparency.
See, that's what I would do, but I feel like people don't like that. Like they think it makes it too difficult.
Well, it is. It's complicated, but you can't do it any other way. There's no other way to create, particularly because of the limited capabilities of the rendering engine that IMVU uses, which is, I mean, it was not necessarily out of date or old when it was originally used, but it's got limited capabilities in terms of what it can do. So you're playing with that as opposed to necessarily playing with better optimizations for content creation. But
Yeah.
that's what you're always doing when you're making something. If you're making it for yourself, it doesn't matter. But if you're making it for other people, then you've got a lot of questions to ask, because you're not just making something, you are making something that somebody has to be able to deconstruct relatively simply so that they can apply whatever it is that they want to do to it.
Yeah.
Like with the hat boxes, you can have your one texture, five textures, each of them being different, or as we said in the previous session, one texture with the boxes vertex painted, different colors.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, so there are different ways of addressing the same sort of fundamental problem in terms of how easy you make something for someone to derive, and the display of the object, the detail or the quality of the object in IMVU. But if
Can
you
we
go on, sorry.
can we paint them?
Yes, we can. So if you switch to the translate widget, the pointy arrow, that's it. To make this easier, you might want to just move those. So if you left click the green handle and move the box move the boxes to one side. That's it.
Like to different places?
Yeah, because you need to be able to paint underneath them, you see. Yeah, just do it sideways so that you... That's it. Right, so with that one that we've got selected, where you switched from the object mode to edit mode, if you click that again, the mode selector, and we've got one that says vertex painting.
We've got a mode. We have a what?
Click the mode selector thing again. Where you switch to edit mode, and see the one that says vertex paint. That's it. So if you just left click drag the mouse,
left click drag it,
just drag it over the box now. It won't do anything because we've got white selected. So if you left click anywhere in the color wheel that you can see on the left there, and then left click drag over the box, it paints it.
I guess we kind of want to paint it in a very ham-handed sort of way. What's wrong with this corner here? It won't paint. Well, why is this so dark? I can't see what's going on over there.
You've still got the lamp in the scene, so if you just temporarily go back into object mode, right click the lamp.
Is this the lamp?
Yep, that's the lamp, and just press X and delete it. With the mouse over the 3D view.
Oh.
That's it. Now you can see your objects.
Now I can see the mess I made.
Yeah, so right click, select your object that you were painting. That's it. Object mode, vertex paint, and then continue painting.
Need a bigger brush or something.
You're painting the vertexes, so keep that in mind when you are swiping across the object and the position of the brush relative to the mesh.
Oh, okay. Like on the bottom here, I need to get...
It's the vertexes are going to follow the lines, the edges.
Okay. Oh, missed one here. All right. Can I just... Yay. Okay.
Yep, do the same again. Select a color.
Oh, I don't know what color. I guess that's all right. Oh, wait. How do I get the other color back?
What other color? The red?
Yeah.
You basically have to try and select it in the color wheel.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty
You can
close.
color pick it or set the color with numerical values, but once you've painted it onto something, it can be quite tricky to get the exact, because the tint is influenced by the mesh, by the color of the texture that's applied to the mesh.
I want to go back now.
So exit, yeah, object mode, right click your object, that's it.
Okay, and now I'm on this one.
Yep, so if you're adding shading, you want that to be a darker red, not necessarily black.
I just want... Wait, is this the brush size?
Yeah.
Hello, where's the brush now? Oh, here. I just want each box to be lighter as they go up, rather than trying to pick a bunch of colors that go together.
Oh, right, yes. Yep, so if you do darker color.
Do, do, do. Okay. Okay.
All right, so exit vertex paint mode. Object mode, right click your box.
Oh, wait, let me click this one. Vertex paint. And then this, let's see, is how much lighter is that? Does that look lighter? Does it look kind of the same?
No, it is. It is lighter. Just
I'm going to do all these and then look at them and go, this was a terrible idea. Oh, no, wait, that's the bottom box.
yep.
Okay, wait, let me make it really dark.
I would make the darker one slightly lighter because that's black. Basically, you're adding essentially black. So if your texture is going to be the polka dot grayscale.
Okay. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wait. There. Okay, this is good, I think. Well, this is a nice repetitive way to like try to remember how to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be like, here, you can derive from these hat boxes, but they can only be red.
Well, the advantage of using vertex painting is that you can disable it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So,
Okay, this is.
So right click your hat box.
I did, right?
Which one are you? All right, yes.
Let's see. I should have just made the brush like 5 or something. It'd be like 1 click and you're done.
Well, if you zoom out.
Oh, the brush stays the same size.
Yep.
Tricky. Oh, wait, so I could go like.
Yeah.
No. Oh, I thought it could just go boop. It didn't quite work. Oh, here's one. Okay. Okay, which one is next? This one. Wait, did I select it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whee!
And note that the red paints over the top of the purple, so it overrides it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. You can be subtle with it if you want, or if you need to, but it'll override.
Ooh, that would be kind of fun to paint half of it blue and half of it red so that it kind of makes red and blue and purple.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
Too late now, though.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to do that now. I'm getting kind of fond of this checkerboard
Yes, it
texture.
makes it easy to see where everything is. So
I mean, I think it looks kind of nice as a hat box texture. I missed that part. I guess that's everything. Okay.
right, so exit that, save the file.
Oh,
I'd do an increment for this because you've made quite a bit of change. So save as, yeah.
here I'll say Hatboxes. Wait. Painted. Oh, I can't just click enter. Oh, it did. Did it let me click enter? Maybe not. There.
Right, so restack these how you want them to be stacked.
Can I? How do I look straight down from the top? I feel like that would be the easiest.
Right, so go into the view menu.
Oh, top.
Yeah, and also do that again. View menu
Oh.
and perspective. View perspective also. Switch that out. A bit further up. Further up. That's it.
This one?
Yeah.
First fourth.
There you go. That's what it does. It flattens the view so that you're looking directly down on the objects without any perspective.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay. I guess they could have just centered them too.
Yes. Well, they were already centered when they were created, when you created them.
So if I had centered them on the XY axis.
Well, if they weren't, we would have to do that before exporting for IMVU to make sure that the furniture item is always in a predictable position.
Oh, but I mean, if to line them up right now.
Oh, right, yes. Because we've used the same object, they're all using the same essentials point of origin. Right, so if you go into the view menu and select view perspective also.
Wait, where is it? Oh,
Down,
here.
that's it, yeah. It switches you back into perspective mode so that you can view the objects properly.
Ah. Oh. Ribbon? Is it time to make a ribbon?
Well, how much time have you got?
20 minutes.
No, I don't know. No, we're not going to have enough time to do that.
Can we start it?
Well, we can. So, if you press the N key, right, can you see at the bottom of that panel that just appeared, you've got the 3D cursor?
Yeah.
Left click in each of those X, Y, and Z and make sure it reads as 0. And I don't know if you noticed, but the little 3D cursor, that little white and red circle thing moved. Yeah, because we've positioned that.
Yeah, I didn't. I was looking at
Yeah,
the
so if
0.
you press enter to just confirm what you've just added there, that's it. Right, so we want to go into the add menu. So
Add.
bottom left, that's it. Mesh. And we want a cube. Right, so that's just positioned where we need it to be. So if you just left click, drag the green handle and just move it to one side so that we've got clear access to it. Right. Right, now if you go into the object menu and select duplicate linked, right click, just reset.
Oh, I left
that's
click.
okay, that's fine, we can adjust that later. But if you switch to edit mode now, you see what's happened?
What happened?
Right click one of the faces Doesn't matter which one. And just move.
Oh,
Press.
they're
Yeah.
together.
Press the G key.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah. They move together. So right click just to reset.
Oh.
Now, what we're going to do here is not create a bow from the get-go. What we're going to do is essentially create an element of it that we can then use. I'm just drawing this on a pad so that I've got a... Right, so...
I have an idea.
what?
Well, I was thinking what I would do is I would cut well, I don't know how you do it in Blender, but I would cut like a cube, like, okay, with this, whichever cube, I don't know. I would cut like a cube out of the corner of each cube, like if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, go on.
And then, so I would have like an X shape on the top and the bottom, and then I would have one thing running up and down each side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Well, we're going to do something that's not quite the same as that.
Okay.
Right, so the front and back face of the object that you've got selected right now, it's the one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so right-click that face that you've got the mouse over, rotate the scene around, and shift right-click the back face.
Oh, of this one.
Yeah. Press delete.
Oh.
Faces. Right. Switch to edge select mode.
Oh.
So that's the 3 buttons. You've got the vertex.
Oh.
That's the middle one, yeah. Now, right-click one of the top corner edges.
Top corner edges.
Yeah, so you've got...
Like...
Yeah.
What? The here?
The ones on the side. The ones that run across the... That's it. Right. So press the G key and do this twice. So press the G key twice and move the mouse. So you see what's happening?
Yeah.
The edge is moving.
Oh, I see.
In relation to the mesh. So if you drop that down and just collapse that edge to the bottom, that's it, all the way down to the bottom, and then left click. Right, so go into the select menu, so left click select, deselect all.
Okay.
And then do it again. Right, want to select everything. Now in the tool shelf just above, can you see the remove doubles button?
Remove?
At the bottom. That's it.
Here.
Click that, and that's removed 2 of those. Right, so exit edit mode for now. Which one's selected? That one. Right, so in the object menu, we want mirror.
Oh, why can they not be alphabetical? Here.
And try one. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's X global. No, right click. So it's Y global. So go back into the object menu.
Object.
Mirror.
And here, okay. Y.
Yeah.
Y? Okay.
There we go. Right click. Left click, sorry. Right, so what you probably want to do now is just position that so that you... so the bottom edge of both of those are essentially touching.
Oh, okay. Touching.
They don't have to be actually touching, but just so that they're positioned approximate to one another.
Like that?
Yeah, and check the side to side.
Check the side,
Yeah,
like this.
that's it. Okay, and I recommend saving the file now. So do an increment. Oh, you saved over the top. Not to worry. Right, so what we've got here is a very, very basic, primitive bow shape.
Ooh.
So we haven't put the middle bit in, which is, we can do that later. But if you do it this way, you have more control over the shape of the bow. Because what you can do is you can go into each, well, not each because it's mirrored and duplicate, but if you edit the bow, you can add loop cuts and change the shape of it so that you are always in control of the shape and the level of detail that it has. So if you go into, so that's selected, so switch to the edit mode, switch to edit mode. And then using the loop cut and slide button, that's in the tool shelf on the left.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. Move the mouse over the, that's it.
Right there?
Yep, that's it. So you can left click and then left click again.
Anywhere?
Anywhere, yeah. Right, so what you've done is you've split that face. So you can now right click the edge at the very top. Yep. And the best way to do this is to do it in free translate mode, which is just the G key. So if you press the G key,
Ooh.
you can now move that and create a more rounded shape. And you keep doing that relative to the amount of detail that you want and the shape of the bow that you want. So we can add extra loop cuts to make it slightly more round.
Oh, no, I think I needed to left click.
Yeah.
Right clicked. Okay.
Right, so if you rotate the scene round so that you can see that back face, do the same thing again. So we want the loop cut and slide button.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Oops, did I click the wrong one? I don't know.
That's it.
Did I click the wrong? Oh, there, okay.
That's it. Left click, left click. And then press the G key, or you can use the widget handles for more precision.
Okay, so we can make another one.
Yep, so if you do that again. That's it.
I don't know, maybe another. This one's not very round.
It will be. What you're basically doing is creating a simple shape initially. You're trying to block out the basic form, which you can then go back into and re-edit. So what you can do now as well, once you've put that cut in place, right, so once that's placed, what you can do is adjust the width of the button selectively. So if you, the edge where the two halves meet, so if you right click that edge, that's it. You can switch to the scale manipulator to make this slightly easier. And then just left click drag the red widget handle and shrink that so that you change the size of the bow. So you're now changing the width of the bow relative to the shape that you want.
Okay.
And if any of those edges have gone wonky, just use your translate widget, which is the pointy arrow one. So you'll have to switch between the two different types.
Wait, have they gone
Yeah,
wonky?
if you
Is this one wonky?
that looks wonky to me. Or should we say offset?
How do I unwonky it?
So you have to right click the edge.
Oh, and then just move it. Oh, no.
So you have to switch to the translate widget,
Which
the
is
pointy one.
the pointy one.
The
Oh,
pointy one, yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to me that pointy one equals
Well,
trans.
it's direction. Pointy, you are pointing in a direction.
Pointy in a direction.
Yes, use the word of the day.
Pointy in.
Yeah, I'll have to use that on Words with Friends.
Didn't you already have another one?
Oh, I've no idea. Better error?
No, they're all. Oh yeah, no, maybe that's another one though. You'll be playing it with strangers and trying to make them understand. No, really, it's a word. I just used it today.
Well, it lets you. You're competing in English American, but it allows people to input Chinese, Czechoslovakian, and all sorts of other words that aren't American English.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, you could just get a really high score every time.
You can, because Chinese uses Q without the U, you can put QI, QE, QA, and get, because Q is the highest scoring letter. I think is it 8 or 10? I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so
Oh.
get one of those on a triple word.
Yeah. I'd like to try and explain to some, like, you're playing with a game with somebody live of like Scrabble, and you're like, no, this is just Chinese. What?
Yeah, I would like to know how you can submit a word for inclusion, because obviously Chinese is now American, I guess.
What?
Well, if you're playing in American English, those are the rules of the game that you are playing American English, and they allow you to input Chinese words for high scores.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. It's not like, I mean, we use some French words even though we don't pronounce them properly for French.
It's not that I'm a stickler for rules, but rules are rules for the game.
Yeah, like you just stick every language in there. It's like, oh, all I can do is just randomly type some.
I mean, if you can use Chinese, how about Arabic?
Right,
is it the Cyrillic alphabet for Arabic? Some of the words, the spellings of the words that they use relative to Chinese. Why just stick to Chinese? Can't we just use, everything? Or even Czechoslovakian?
What if there's like can we use like Klingon?
Yeah, it's a word.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a whole language.
Yep, so there is. There is an actual language. People actually talk Klingon to one another.
So it doesn't seem very inclusive to not include it.
Nope.
Okay, I don't know how my bow is going to. Of course, there's only 5 minutes left, but I don't know.
Well, we'll have to do another session. So if you exit out of edit mode for now,
okay,
and then do an incremental save so that you don't save over the.
You just want me to have more stuff on my desktop.
Okay. Well, it's just good practice to get into the habit of doing. Because it's basically a restore point. That's what you're creating, is a restore point.
Yeah, but why, if I just save over the top,
you won't have anything to go back to if you goof up.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
which means you'd have to start the whole thing all over again.
But the last one I saved still had like these hat boxes.
Yes, but if not in this particular instance, but if you were working on a project and you did something and it
Oops.
either didn't work or you didn't like it, you could use your incremental saves to go back to a point where you can rework the file and make it better.
Betterer.
Better.
I decided it's not dark enough. Once I put them all together.
Well, with this file, you'll be able to just save over the top of the one you just created.
Yeah. Unless this is something I'm doing right now is ruining everything.
Could be.
Wait, is that too dark now? In relation to the other ones?
I have an urge to offset some of those boxes.
Yeah, I want to like in 3D Studio Max, you can do like a bendy thing, right? Like you could just say you want it to look like the boxes are like a topsy-turvy cake kind of thing, or
Right.
something like kind of tilting.
Yeah.
And that'd be really fun. Then you could have like an avatar holding them and like making a face and like looking like they're about to drop the whole stack. It'd be awesome. Wait, why is it?
Because you did save as instead of save.
Oh, I don't think that was my intention. But my fingers have a mind of their own.
Did you save the file?
I think so.
Okay.
You don't think I did?
No, I just wasn't quite sure what you were doing.
Yeah, I think I did a save as, just like you said.
Right, okay. So we'll have to do another session where we can complete the bow. I mean, it's obviously super huge right now, but that's the base. What?
That could work. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the basic principle, is that you create a very, very simple shape and then you edit the shape and add more detail to it so that you always have more control over it.
Oh.
The objects are duplicated and they're mirrored, but they're still separate objects. It's only when you're in edit mode that when you check. So if you go into edit mode now, and you change the position of something, it'll automatically reflect. So it keeps the objects separate so that you can manipulate the objects. But when you go into edit mode, it'll automatically transfer whatever you're doing across to the duplicate.
Well, I'm not going to save it again, so...
No. Well, next session will be tidying up the bow and adding that to the... And then hopefully we might even get as far as exporting.
Ooh, that would be exciting. I'm not saving this one, so don't worry. I just want to see if this bow is too big or not.
Well, I would imagine that something that large would be affected by gravity.
Yeah. I don't know why the hat boxes fell over. It couldn't have been that giant like thing that made it look like it's some Dutch, like it's a windmill. Or
yeah.
Or those hats? What are those Dutch hats?
Oh, the Dutch hats, yes, I know the ones, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
All right, well, I shall stop the streaming for now. And
okay.
Then, so cheery bye, everybody, until next time.
Goodbye.